WWE Raw review for the October 27th episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling podcast. As always, cheers, talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, you had the last Raw before Saturday night main event. Will we get any more matches? What's the build-up like for that? Honestly, it was a pretty good Raw.
Damn good episode of Raw. I wasn't there for the live stream. Brandon carried it for me. Thank you very much. But stop by our live stream for SmackDown and Saturday night's main event this weekend.
Saturday night, late night, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. YouTube.com/COD WrestlePod. But let's get into this thing because we start off with our Jey Uso CM Punk stare down segment. They come out to with the belt in the middle of the ring, propped up. You know, they're fighting for the championship, the vacated title at Saturday night main event. And we got Jey Uso getting in the ring, doing his encore, and then immediately we get CM Punk coming out. That man even hit an encore. He would.
I thought that was funny.
It was pretty funny.
That might have been one of the best moments of the night.
He did look at Jay and was like, "Hey, I'm sorry for stealing your stuff here." But then he proceeds by saying 4 letters, 1 word, punk.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he's he's getting all up in Jey Uso's nerves. Jey Uso's kind of going back and forth, not looking happy about any of it happening here. But there wasn't much to this promo segment. It was basically CM Punk saying that he understands what Jay had to do last week. He's actually impressed that Jey Uso got in the ring and did what he had to do. But, how far will he go is basically what CM Punk is asking this dude. And Jey Uso takes the mic. He gets his animated, I'll do what come at me, Punk. Screw you, Punk. He actually says, he's basically saying everybody doubts him now, but he's going to do his thing because 4 letters, 1 word, yeet. Kind of just a hype promo between the two of them. No real animosity or anything gets done here. They do a nice little stare down. I'm going to go ahead and give it a drop. We need a little bit more going into Saturday Night Main Event, but it's also not something where I'm walking away from this like, oh, why'd they do it? It's just, it was there.
Yeah, I'm probably the exact same. I'm going to drop this as well. To open the show, I was actually kind of excited. Like, okay, cool. We get a little war of words between the two, and then you proceeded to see kind of what we had thought would be the case where Punk cuts a nice solid promo who you could have him in the ring with anybody with. And Jay doesn't really have the ability to kind of go back. The one thing that I kind of took away from this that I was confused about was the Jey Uso like, oh, well, you're always trying to turn people against me and you're trying to be the good guy. And so then like it comes into play maybe a little bit later on as well. So maybe that's a hint at it, like this character switch. But I was like, oh, that's kind of out of nowhere.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I didn't mention it in that very short little rundown I just did. But like, it didn't make any sense because CM Punk didn't turn against him in the promo at all. If anything, CM Punk kind of like, because the crowd started to boo Jay when CM Punk mentioned that he won the Battle Royale. And Punk even turned on the fans there and was like, no, you shouldn't boo that. He did what he needed to do. So it was one of those things where it's like, if anything, he propped you up. He's making your story look reasonable versus what the audience wants. So Jay coming back and being like, you're turning people on me. I was kind of like, what do you mean?
Yeah. And later on, him and Jimmy have a little thing, but I guess I'll kind of combine those now for a split second. Like, I think it's some sort of way where Jay's starting to be kind of delusional and he's just kind of trying to play the victim and he's trying to turn everybody into like, hey, it doesn't matter what my actions are. You should still feel bad for me sort of thing. That's kind of the takeaway I have from the Jay character here from Raw.
Yeah, we can wrap it all up. We might as well talk about the Jay stuff because the opening segment really didn't do anything. But we get 2 backstage segments here where Jay runs into Jimmy. The first one, Jim's pissed because Jim's like, we had a game plan. Basically, the idea was that you and I went through the whole Battle Royale, help each other. I saved you twice. And then when it got down to us 2, we do our business, which I actually needed that clarification because last week when it happened, you and I were like, well, Big Jim said that that's how this was going to be. But I guess they were insinuating that they wanted to be the last 2. Probably should have made that a little bit more clear, but Jim basically gets in his face and said, you're just thinking about yourself now. You don't care about anything except for yourself. You'll even throw me over the top rope, so screw you. And then later in the night, Jay does walk up to him and basically give him an apology. And he even says like, hey, the game plan was for one of us to win. I had to do what I had to do. It was nothing personal. And by the way, everybody's kind of against me right now. I don't have much friends. Roman isn't even here right now. So like, basically, let's not add to it. Like, I want my brother with me, and they do end up making up at the end of the night. So, yeah, I mean, Jay is kind of just everywhere. His mind is everywhere. He doesn't know whether or not he wants to be the next Roman or he wants to remain an Uso. He's kind of just all over the place right now.
Yeah, and I think it's just another thing where He apologizes, and Jimmy's like, okay, well, that's my brother. I'll accept the
Yeah.
apology. But at the end of the day, Jay's going to do something else again. Ends up turning his back on Big Jim.
Yeah. We shall see.
There's a lot of character development from Jay, even though like there wasn't a lot, but there was still a lot, if that makes any sense.
We're going on a rambling here, but like we also mentioned this in our questions podcast, which you should check out, that came out Monday, about how why we would prefer Punk as champion, because a lot of it is, once again, most of the character development from Jay took place in backstage segments. Mm-hmm. And when he's out there with the crowd, he's kind of forced into just the yelling, yeeting, leaving thing. So that's also plays into kind of what our kind of mindset is toward this match overall, of wanting Punk to probably win it. But predictions will be out later in the week. We do have Judgment Day backstage, and Dom is worried. He's just worried. So he wants to get some help from Finn and JD, but Finn and JD lost the titles because Dom accidentally set up a match for him. So they were like, screw you, we're going home. And they walk away from Dom, and Dom's like, crap. He pulls out his phone and he calls for help. Roxanne did want to say some stuff, but Raquel stopped her.
They keep putting those little nuggets in there.
I know. He was wearing a Raquel shirt.
He was
wearing a Raquel shirt. He was looking really good. This would lead to Penta versus Rusev, a number one contenders match for the Intercontinental title. This was really damn good. I thought this is Rusev's best performance, probably other than his like Donnybrook match or whatever you call it with Sheamus. But this is some really, really good stuff. Penta is awesome, and Rusev is very strong, and that's how a lot of the match went. Spilled out right away. Rusev was beating the hell out of Penta for a lot of this match. Penta did kick out. He went for a top rope move, and Rusev hit him with the Machka kick or whatever you call it, nailed him with it. And when Penta did get the 1-2 there, Penta also hit the Penta driver on Rusev, which didn't think that was possible. Nailed that. Rusev kicks out of that one. They go to the outside. They do some stuff on the outside, but eventually Rusev looks like he's about to put the accolade onto Penta when the Americanos, El Grande, and everybody, the other Los Americanos, which they gave them names. I didn't write them down.
One of them is Bravo, and I don't remember what the other one is.
It's like Bravo and Macho or something. I don't know. It's something dumb like that. But they attack both of them. They're beating the hell out of both of them. They send Penta out. They start to beat up Rusev and throw him against the stairs from the outside, and they start to celebrate. El Grande's in his suit, looking nice and good. But then a wild Rusev appears in the back, and he gets in, scares away the tiny Americanos, and then Rusev and Penta actually end up kind of beating up on El Grande before he's able to skedaddle away here. Rusev and Penta look at each other after the match, but nothing happens between them. We do get confirmation, though, later in the night that it will be a triple threat match at Saturday Night Main Event. We do get Dirty Dom defending against Penta and Rusev at Saturday Night Main Event, like we predicted. I like all this. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. I understand people might be somewhat tired of the Rusev Penta Dom vortex, or Rusev Penta, or however you really want to phrase it, but looks like we're going to get a conclusion of that here at Saturday Night Main Event. This match here was good. The strong stuff from Rusev, like I said, I thought it was a really solid performance by him. It kind of just speaks to Penta, in my opinion, as well. Like, you can kind of put him in there with anybody, and he's going to make them look like $1 million, and he's going to get his stuff in too. So props to them. I'm really excited for this. I was a little unsure if it was going to be happening at Saturday Night Main Event. It had a big time feel of a Raw to me, but Saturday Night Main Event is awesome. You get these three guys on TV for people. You get people introduced to Penta, people introduced to Dom. Like, I understand everybody that watches week in and week out probably knows who those guys are, but maybe you get some new audience people from there. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm 100% down for this match. We obviously have been talking about it for a couple weeks now. They've led into this pretty well. I really hope Dirty Dom wins it. At this point, I kind of don't want either of the other guys to win. If one were to win, it'd be Penta, in my opinion. I do like Rusev over the last couple weeks. I've been a hater about him. I'm not going to shy away from that. I think he's been doing some better work in this whole Penta, Dom, Rusev vortex, and his match quality against Penta tonight was absolutely awesome. So the match at Saturday Night Main Event, I'm 100% down for just more Dirty Dom on a PLE, and then Penta and Rusev also in there. This should be good. I'm down.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit worried in terms of Rusev's character, in terms of promo ability and things going forward. But like you said, the in-ring stuff right now, he's a big, strong guy right now, and it's kind of nice to have that heel on while, like, Gunther, I mean, that was Gunther's role, but Gunther's away right now, so you got to kind of fill that somehow. Yeah,
I will say the Americano thing is something to keep an eye on. I don't really have much to comment on that. Hopefully they don't run in, or if they do, hopefully it's not a run in and they cost Dom. I don't know. Hopefully this triple threat match ends up being pretty clean-ish. We want Dirty Dom to be dirty, right? But I don't really need the Americanos getting involved. We do have two promos that kind of work hand in hand here. We have LA Knight, who basically says that he should have won the Battle Royale last week because he is the isness that everybody needs to deal with.
Yep.
I like that line. It's good stuff.
It's all right.
But he says that it doesn't matter. Jey Uso or CM Punk, whoever wins, they're going to have to deal with him. So he's still got his eyes on gold after Saturday Night Main Event, which is good. I want to make sure that he remains in that area. And then we counter that with a Vision promo backstage. And they're all sitting there, which I kind of hated right away because Braun's kind of pacing back and forth. And it's like, we should have just gone out there and destroyed everybody. Paul, what are we doing? Which a little bit of me is like, Braun, you're the leader. You decided to do this. Go do it. Screw Paul Heyman for a minute. But Paul does talk him out of it and say it's much easier to deal with one person than it is for the 20 people in the Battle Royale. And only one other person has the same goal that they have. That is LA Knight. So he set up a match for Braun, LA Knight, later in the night.
Yeah, the LA Knight promo, to me at least, I didn't have a big takeaway from it. I just was like, okay,
yeah,
whatever. The Vision stuff I had more of an opinion on. That it was like, I sat there watching it and I was like, okay, I understand Braun Breaker's opinion. Like, I'm kind of on that side. We should have made an appearance there. But then, like, Paul Heyman also makes good points. So I'm like, yeah, they both make good points.
Yeah, I'm with you. They both make good points. I just think there's a character switch. Like, the moment that Braun turned, I thought we were going to get just screw everybody Braun Breaker. And since then, he's still the lackey he still listens to Paul Heyman. Yep. Like, he decided to do his heel turn, yet he still listens to Paul. That doesn't click for me. So, we'll give it time. Yeah, it's only been a couple weeks.
It's one of those things that I would like to see him kind of more unhinged, I guess, because like it seemed like he was uncontrollable and he was the one that decided to do that. Maybe if they were going to have Paul kind of lead Bronson and Braun, at least right now, maybe they should have somehow done that a little bit differently because like you said, it did seem originally heel turn happens. It's Braun's choice. Braun is the leader.
Yep. Everybody
listens to Braun. But now Braun is now listening to Paul again. But like you said, it is still pretty fresh. So maybe we get a switch.
Hopefully we do. Or just hopefully Paul leads him in the right direction, which he probably will. We would get a cool little Asuka type package about all of her historic things that she's done in WWE. I like that. That means we really are leaning into this heel Asuka. They're showing it in your face that she's amazing. Be ready for more Asuka.
Shout out Bill Goldberg.
Shout out Bill Goldberg. Yeah. That was the direct. I didn't think about that. That was a direct middle finger to him, huh?
Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah, I don't think they would have done that if it wasn't for that.
And she was a class act. She's like, if that's his opinion, I like his opinion. That's cool. We'd also get Judgment Day. They're talking to Pierce about wanting a tag team match, but Pierce says they got to deal with Sheamus first, so it's JD versus Sheamus later in the night.
Yeah, shout out JD for stepping up.
He did.
He just was like, I got this.
Yeah, he did. And Finn was even like, yeah. Then we get a great match. Nikki Bella took on Roxanne Perez. Singles action here. Of course, Raquel's on the outside. But this thing actually slapped. I thought all the matches tonight, just to put that in perspective, all the freaking matches tonight were just great in ring. But right away, Roxanne, obviously, she tries to show respect to the greats because, she's obviously that woman. So she reaches her hand out to give Nikki Bella a nice handshake. But Nikki doesn't fall for it, and Roxanne didn't want to do it anyway, so she smacks Nikki Bella, and we get off to the races here. Every single match tonight, I will say, did have some sort of interference, basically, and this was another one. Raquel's out there. We expect that stuff, so Raquel does get involved here, and Roxanne gets a bunch of the offense in throughout the match. Nikki would hit a cool spine buster, though, which is really nice. Eventually, though, we would get Raquel distracting, but Nikki was actually able to get away from that for a minute. So the distraction doesn't necessarily cause the finish here, which is really, really nice. They distracted good enough amount to where Roxanne gets a good amount of offense in, but toward the end of the match, we do get Nikki going for a spine or for a spear. She misses, hits the post. Roxanne climbs onto the rope and then uses that to hit a pop rocks on Nikki. 1, 2, 3. And Roxanne pins Nikki Bella. Sort of cleanish relative to what the match is doing here. So that was really nice. But of course, it's Roxanne and it's Raquel. They got to beat up whoever they just beat. So they start stomping on Nikki Bella. And that's when Stephanie Vaquer runs out there to make the save. Roxanne and Raquel kind of just run away for a minute. But Raquel steps up in the middle of the ring. And Steph walks up right to her and is looking all the way up at her, basically straight up in the sky. And Nikki Bella also stares her down. So it ends with Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel with Nikki Bella staring down each other. And then we get the confirmation next week that we are going to get this tag match with Nikki Bella, Stephanie taking on Raquel and Roxanne. I loved all this. I'm popping the hell out of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop this as well. That match was fine to me. I think it did what it needed to do, and that was help get Roxanne even more time. Like, she gets in the ring with a veteran. She gets to go against somebody she's always probably wanted to wrestle, right? She gets the win here by, like you said, it was like a somewhat dirty tactic, but also nah. Like there was the interference, which was nice for Raquel to kind of be out there like she always is because they're always out there for each other. But at the end of the day, she gets about as clean of a win as like a heel can kind of get from all things said and done. And then you get the confirmation basically afterwards. The main takeaway for this for me afterwards was Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez seems to be kind of next up. Maybe it's after the tag match next week. I know Nikki and Stephanie cut a little promo basically saying like, hey, if you want some, we're coming for you basically. Nikki was staring down that title, so maybe there's a little bit of a heel turn potentially next week. Who really knows? But the Stephanie versus Raquel thing really excites me. Nice to see Raquel getting that shine, hopefully. The only little gripe I'll have is at the end with the stare down. I didn't need Nikki necessarily walking up because it felt just like I said it on the live stream. I said, no, get away. I said, I like the visual of her looking up to Raquel was awesome. Yeah. I liked that. But then you had Nikki just walking over and I was like, no, get out of that shot. But that's just a minor gripe, but it was all good.
Yeah, I love this. I love the idea of Stephanie versus Raquel. All of us immediately said Stephanie versus Roxanne, but then you have to sit there and be like, well, Raquel is being booked as this like extremely dominant force lately. I mean, she's been doing great stuff. And the second that Steph walked up to her, was looking straight up in the sky, I was like, yep, book it right away. So let's do the tag match next week. Let's actually lead that into Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel, maybe instead of Roxanne Perez. I love Roxanne too, but I feel like Raquel would be really good in this situation, and she could take a pin here, which makes Stephanie look absolutely incredible when she does topple that giant. So I'm looking forward to absolutely all this. And then, of course, I think we're going to get Stephanie and Nikki down the line after. So I love all of it. All of it.
Yeah, you can have some nice couple of weeks there where Raquel uses her pure size and dominates and looks strong. I mean, there was a while there where it was people were wanting her to be the champ. Yep. So it's like, she's, a credible threat. So let's go ahead and put that together.
100%. I'm down. We will get Lyra and Bayley backstage. Lyra runs into the Kabuki Warriors, and they were not happy that Lyra gets a tag team title match tonight instead of them. Bayley walked up, and Lyra was like, I've never fought Charlotte and Alexa. You didn't tell me we had a match. I'm basically worried because they're amazing. And Bayley's like, oh, well, if you're not confident, I don't know if we can win this thing. And then Lyra's like, wait, no, we can win this thing. And they celebrate. I was like, okay, this is funny. Not much to take away from it, though. That would lead us into our Braun Breaker versus LA Knight match. Yeah, you wrote down crowd is hot. The crowd was great. Yeah. Anaheim.
The crowd was hot for this match. Yeah. It was a good crowd all throughout, but this is where I really noticed it, that I was like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, they're into this.
Man.
Even though you might have seen it a couple of times already, crowd did not care.
I don't care, man. LA Knight and Braun Breaker, I freaking love these guys. They're two of my absolute favorites. Bronson would get the distraction because, of course, you have Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed on the outside. Even Paul distracted, too. That was a pretty good thing there. But Braun got a bunch of offense in. LA Knight got a lot of good offense in. Nothing that we haven't seen before, but this is some really, really, really good stuff. But eventually, Braun tries to go for, he keeps picking that man up, military pressing him, but LA Knight reverses it into a DDT, and then he wants to go ahead and get his elbow drop, right? And he goes for it, but Braun kips up. And LA Knight misses, obviously, and Braun Breaker spears the socks off of LA Knight. 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker defeats LA Knight clean tonight on Monday Night Raw. I loved it, man. This is good stuff. Popping it.
Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted.
Yeah, I mean, I get
because initially when this match is announced, I thought to myself, oh, man, they're kind of putting themselves in like a no-win situation, basically, because they want to push Braun Breaker because of the heel turn, but at the same time, the fans are wanting LA Knight, or at least a lot of people are wanting LA Knight. Even LA Knight, when he walks out there, right, he holds up a sign that says, we don't want Jey Uso, we want LA Knight. And I said, oh boy. He goes, yeah, that's right. And I was like, oh no, watch out. So he takes a clean pin here to Braun Breaker. I guess there are worse things that could happen, right? I mean, Braun Breaker is kind of the future, the next guy. He takes out Seth Rollins, he takes out LA Knight. So I understand that, but also at the same time, like, it makes you wonder what the path is for LA Knight going forward, because when he was on SmackDown, it was like, hey, there's not a clear path for him to kind of get elevated up. And then he went over to Raw and you thought, okay, fresh start, fresh beginning. Well, it seems kind of like he's in that same spot that he was in on SmackDown there for a while. I don't really know what the path is going to be for him going forward. I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I'm with you. I pop it because I just love the match itself. These guys are awesome. But it is one of those things where, like, after the match happens, 5 minutes later, you sit there and you think about it and you're like, damn, LA Knight did just lose clean again. I mean, clean-ish. I mean, Bronson and Paul did get involved and distracted him. So you are technically 3v1ing whenever you have to face somebody in the Vision. I do understand that. But at the same time, like, Braun Breaker got to win over LA Knight. LA Knight lost to number one contender matches in the last couple weeks. He's kind of on a losing streak right now. Like, what would be next for him? He says he wants to go after Jey Uso or CM Punk, whoever wins that title match at Saturday Night Main Event. But like, what's your stock, bro? What are you going to point to get that number one contender? And why are you up next? So eventually we need to start building stock in him some way, somehow, get him some actual meaningful wins. But like you said, lose-lose situation, because Braun Breaker also can't be taking losses right now after a big heel turn. So yeah, I don't know. They're shooting themselves in the foot booking these, but I love watching it.
I enjoyed it. And the kip up was awesome, and the spear was awesome. That was cool. The whole promo with the Vision too, about like taking out somebody who doesn't see the Vision or whatever Paul had said beforehand, right? Like, I'm like, okay, cool. They're like right then and there. I'm like, okay, they're going after LA Knight. But then, like you said, it's like, well, he can't beat Punk. He can't beat Jay. He can't beat Braun Breaker. What's he going to do? And I don't really know what the path is for LA Knight going forward. It almost, to me, honestly, was like a double down. Like, they saw the backlash from last week about, hey, it should have been LA Knight. It should have been LA Knight. And they're like, oh, you think it should have been LA Knight? How about you watch this?
Yeah.
That's almost what it felt like.
They're like, you guys also want Braun Breaker. So guess what? We're going to have Braun beat him. So how about you choose between the two of them? Jackasses? That's what they told us. And now I hate it. I'm going to throw an artificial drop on it now that we've talked about it.
It's one of those things. I don't.
Yeah.
When it was happening, I was like, it felt like a match. And don't get me wrong, I was happy because, like you said, I enjoyed the match.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that you stand back and you look at it story-wise that you're like, well, they don't need to do this.
No.
There's no reason they need to have this match where either one of them takes a pin. I mean, hell, you could have had LA Knight face Bronson Reed and maybe he gets a win over Bronson Reed. I don't know. You could have done that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or him face somebody else and then the Vision want to take him out anyways. I don't know. We're sit here in fantasy book for days, I guess. Then we will get JD. He's taking on Sheamus. JD McDonut. That's what one-on-one. Actually, that's Simon. That's Simon. I watched Simon. Okay. Yeah, Simon Miller. He's the best. Other than us, of course. But this is actually awesome. I mean, Sheamus puts on bangers and JD puts on bangers. Every single time JD's in that ring, we have to say it. Dude's absolutely incredible, and he needs to get more shine. It's absolutely great here. We got Sheamus running off the apron, taking out both Finn and JD throughout the match. JD doing his springboard moonsaults to the outside of the ring onto Sheamus. Absolute nuts here. We do get Finn, of course, getting involved when JD gets almost 3 counted pin, but Finn Balor slides in and throws his foot on the rope, which I was kind of like, that's the second time in the match where it was like blatantly in front of the ref. I was like, if that was Jessica Carr, he's gone yesterday, bro. You're in the back. There's no way. But Sheamus starts to destroy Finn and JD because Finn pulled out Sheamus' shillelagh, so all shenanigans ensues. JD's able to distract the ref while Sheamus goes to the top rope. Finn takes that shillelagh and smacks him in the back with it. JD pops up there, hits a ridiculous Spanish fly onto Sheamus. 1, 2, 3. JD gets the win over Sheamus, but the big takeaway is that Judgment Day earned tag team title shot next week against the team of AJ Lee, right? The AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. So I actually liked all this. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a pop.
Yeah, when the match first happens, I thought to myself, like when the bell rings, I'm like, oh, I don't necessarily need to see this.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a Sheamus JD McDonough match, which, like you said, when the bell rings, it's always, I get lost in a second because I'm like, okay, yeah, the match is great. It's always enjoyable. But then by the end, you see it and it's like, okay, it makes sense. I was under the impression that Judgment Day wasn't going to get the win when the bell first rang. So Judgment Day gets the win here by some shenanigans. Sounds good stuff to me. JD gets a win over Sheamus. That's awesome. And you have them run it back for the tag titles. Now people may say, well, you really want them, challenging for the tag titles again? No, not necessarily. But At the same time, the team of AJ Lee, Phenomenal Dragons, Dragon Style, whatever you want to call them, they seem like they're taking the fighting champion approach. Yep. So it's really kind of whoever wants to come try to get these titles can show up and we'll fight them. So as long as we get more of that and we get to see them on TV, sign me up. Plus, it's AJ Styles and Finn Balor are going to be in the ring together. You sign me up.
Ditto. My takeaway is fun match between JD and Sheamus, and it leads to Finn Balor, JD, Dragon Lee, and AJ Styles being in a ring together. So we win at the end of the day. Do I want Judgment Day to win the tag team titles again? No. Then something weird happened here. Adam Pearce talking to Maxine Dupree, and he's like, "You're doing awesome, kid," basically, and she hasn't won clean. So guess what? I'm gonna give you a tag or another IC title shot, and she's like, well, I got to make some calls first and make sure I'm ready. And it's like, wait, what? And Adam Pearce sits there and is like, that's okay. You've earned it. So just whenever you're ready, come talk to me and we'll book it. And a little bit of me is like, wait, that's how this works? I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah. So originally I was confused, and I still kind of am. And while I'm not like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's a weird thing. She's like, I'm not really sure if I'm ready. Let me call a friend to make sure I'm ready. Okay. I don't really know how that works, but it is what it is. Whatever. She's the number one contender, which sounds awesome to me. Sign me up. Yeah. My first thought was, well, she's going to call AJ Lee when they're in the Garden. AJ Lee calls Becky Lynch. So I don't really understand the whole. Well, no, I'm not quite ready right now because there's a whole roster of people that would love to have that shot. But also at the end of the day, it's Maxine Dupree. I'm not going to read too much into it.
Yeah, I'm too big of a fan to give this a drop. So shut up.
Exactly.
So shut up. I can't wait. I don't care if it's today, tomorrow, or 4 weeks from right now. Maxine Dupree's winning that title, so I'm happy about it.
Hey, we've seen it before. People, well, I mean, I guess they're past champs, but they come back like 2 months later and like, I never got my rematch. Yeah. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Main event action here, which was absolutely phenomenal. I'm not going to do it justice, so if you can watch this, go ahead and do it. But it was the Women's Tag Team Championship match between the Twisted Queens, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair taking on Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. Man, oh man. Banger. Bayley and Lyra, obviously they come into this thinking that they're the underdogs that are going to steal this thing. So they come in really, really hot throughout it, and they're beating the hell out of Alexa Bliss. Of course, we didn't get the Charlotte Flair hot tag, and she's able to do some good work and take out everybody. Everybody gets their shine in this match. Absolutely everybody. I mean, we got a Sister Abigail from Alexa Bliss to Lyra Valkyria. We got Lyra Valkyria then coming back and hitting her Nightwing. Lyra Valkyria did a top rope leg drop on one of them at one point. I don't even remember that. It was absolutely awesome. There was a little funny part where Lyra's hair got caught in Alexa Bliss's shirt, and they just immediately made do of it. That was awesome to see. But eventually, we'd have Charlotte Flair hitting her figure four leg lock on Bayley, and she puts the bridge up. And Bayley looks like she's about to tap, but Lyra runs into the ring, and she's on her belly, and she catches her arm. You're not tapping. We're going to do this thing. Well, that's when you see Alexa Bliss go to the top rope and hit the Twisted Bliss onto Lyra, who's stopping the tap. And then Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss get up, and they hit like a dual natural selection on both of them. 1, 2, 3. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss do retain, but that's not enough because the Kabuki Warriors have made it known they want those belts. So, of course, they attack. But if you catch it, they don't just attack the champs. They attack both teams. I think they hit that move where Asuka holds one of them. I think it was on Charlotte Flair, and Kyrie hits the insane elbow, and then they stomp out Lyra and Bayley to end the night. So the Twisted Queens keep their tag titles, but it looks like the Kabuki Warriors want them as well. They attack the Twisted Queens and Lyra and Bayley. Maybe a triple threat tag team championship match coming. I would be very excited. I'm popping all of this. Yeah,
I'm going to pop this as well. Originally, when this match was announced, throughout the night, we were wondering, is this going to main event? Is this going to main event? Is this going to main event? And then in main events, you're like, oh, hell yeah, here we go. This is going to be awesome. And this match was everything that you wanted and more. I mean, like you said, everybody got their shine in. The crowd is hot for both teams. The crowd is backing both teams. There's not, they're not upset at one team. They're not, nobody's heel, nobody's face. Well, I guess they're both face-ish, but like, there's no heel like, oh, boo, I don't want to see these people succeed. They wanted everybody to succeed and do well. The match was phenomenal. It's 4 of the best in-ring women's wrestlers. Cool to see the tag teams take main event stage. You got Bayley and Lyra, who you get a little bit of story development there. Bayley kind of goes crazy at one point. She kind of takes over again, but wasn't enough this week. I did think at one point when the I guess it's the Twisted Bliss from Alexa that breaks up. I thought maybe for a second I was like, oh no, does Charlotte get upset because it breaks up the tap, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that ended up happening, and I'm happy it didn't. Dual natural selections, like you said. Kabuki Warriors coming out and attacking. They made it known not only tonight but previous weeks they want those tag titles. So give a triple threat tag team match. Why not? How do you make this even better? You put them in there. Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, I love absolutely all of this. I can't complain about a single bit of it. The only thing is I do wish we had a little bit more of the Bayley stuff going on, because it did kind of happen. The Kabuki Warriors attacked and Bayley got up and for a moment protected Lyra and was kind of looking like she was going to go crazy. But it looks like we've kind of dialed that part of Bayley's new character back a little bit. She may snap down the line, who knows? But yeah, all eyes should be set on a triple threat match. This is absolutely awesome. Lyra, Bayley, Charlotte, Alexa, and the Kabuki Warriors all in a ring fighting for the women's tag team championships. I mean, sign me up on any day of the week. That could main event a PLE for all I care. I was really hoping right after it happened, we get the announcement that it's happening Saturday. I was really, really wanting that to happen, but it's not going to happen quite yet. But yeah, I mean, tag match is absolutely awesome. The women's tag team division, or just division in general, looks better than ever. Happy all the way around, man.
Yeah. And the only reason I'm happy it's not on Saturday, I guess, is because there is that strict time limit.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's true. That's true.
Like, you know what? I want to give them as much time as they need because, like you said, this main event was fantastic. They need to have the women main eventing more because this takeaway from this show was like, I didn't really get a lot from them inside this show, to be honest. True. You're just kind of like, but the women's stuff was all fantastic tonight. They cooked in every single way. I loved every single minute of their segments and everything. Like you said, a little bit of weird on the Maxine stuff, but the payoff's going to be worth it.
And they need to just, because those tag team titles can go anywhere. So just please carry this story over to SmackDown, and then we can have some fun women's stuff on SmackDown too, because I'd like to see that. We gave this episode of Raw 10 pops to only 3 drops. I thought it was a great episode of Raw, so I'm going to defend that. This was some good stuff. Thank you guys for stopping by the live stream. Brandon did it solo, so thank you for doing that for us yesterday. YouTube.com/COD WrestlePod. And for everything else for the podcast, it's at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. We have a link tree in our bio. It'll lead you everywhere you need to go. All of our socials. Go ahead, like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, because we're confident that you would love our content. But I'm Will. That's Brandon. We're the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.